Tools for practicing necromancy have been found in an Israeli cave. In one of the caves in Israel, scientists found more than 120 oil lamps, various types of weapons, dishes, coins and even human skulls. Analysis of the artifacts and where they were found revealed that at least some of them were used for necromancy rituals. In the Teomim cave complex in the Judean highlands, archaeologists have found artifacts that they believe were used to practice necromancy. This complex has long been known to researchers. Over the years, archaeologists working in this place have excavated hundreds of artifacts dating back to about 2,000 years ago. In their research, reported in the journal Harvard Theological Review, archaeologists from the Israel Antiquities Authority and Bar-Ilan University analyzed artifacts excavated from the cave over the past 14 years and found evidence of necromancy rituals. Mass culture has slightly distorted our way of thinking about necromancy, distorting our understanding of it. It is generally associated with black magic or witchcraft. Meanwhile, these practices were not only about reviving the dead. The rituals, researchers suggest, were intended to communicate with the dead by summoning their spirits to learn their secrets or future events. In the Teomim cave, a number of artifacts dating back to about 2,000 years ago, dating back to Roman times, have been discovered. Anyway, this cave went down in the history of Israel, even in relation to the time after the conquest of this country by Rome. For example, it served as a hideout for rebels during the Bar Kokhba uprising, named after its leader, Shimon Bar Kokhba, whose aim was to free themselves from Roman occupation. It took place in the years 132 to 135, but ended with the defeat of the insurgents. Research has been conducted in the cave complex since 2009 and scientists representing various Israeli institutions participate in it. The results of the work carried out by Eitan Klein and Boaz Zishu seem to be particularly interesting. They analyzed the artifacts found in the cave during these 14 years. Among them, we can mention over 120 oil lamps, various types of weapons, containers, coins and even 3 human skulls, Some of these items were even squeezed into quite tight spaces inside the cave. Based on the research, scientists have drawn quite interesting conclusions. The items found in the cave have been associated with necromancy. As the researchers admitted, the purpose of such practices may be the desire to communicate with the dead by summoning their spirits or visualizing them in order to know the future course of events or to discover certain secrets. Klein and Ziss associated this type of practice with skulls, which is obvious, but also lamps, which is not so obvious at first glance. According to archaeologists, the Teomim cave was probably an attempt to communicate with the people who owned the 3 skulls found during their lifetime. The presence of weapons can be explained quite easily. They were intended to protect against evil spirits. However, in the context of these finds, the aforementioned lamps and their large number are particularly important. Lamps were found in such places that they certainly did not serve to illuminate the cave. In some places they were placed together with weapons or coins. In relation to necromancy, the shapes of their flames were important, the scholars point out. It should be noted here, that in those times quite a frequent practice were attempts to interpret these shapes. They were then treated as evidence of establishing contact with the dead, demons and even deities. Ancient writings of the time confirm that the movement of flames was once considered a key means of communication with the other world. In turn, Greek and Roman sources suggest that necromancy was a common practice at the time, and skulls were a key element of it. Some sources discuss spells to seal the mouths of skulls so that they can no longer speak. Earlier research into the cave suggested that it was once a sacred place of worship for an underworld deity. But it wasn't until 3 human skulls were found that archaeologists began to suspect that ritual magic also took place here.